'Twas 3 weeks before Christmas and pretty damn dark, up north here in Sweden, as I walked through the park. I was thinking of how to theoretically base a medical simulator and its intra-face, a tool to teach students the pelvic exam, with organs and diodes, but no diaphragm. When doing a study on how it could teach, I realized the box came with inserts for each type of womb and some ovaries, but even more odd, with a fat pad to mimic a large woman's bod. One placed the thin fat pad, which came in one piece, below the abdominal skin and obese. It looked like a mouse pad, insertable foam, but thin as a centimeter and shaped like a dome. I thought of the women, those termed as obese, and thought it'd take dozens of inserts at least to model their models and properly hide their womb and their ovaries deep down inside. So I asked the designer at a factory in Kent how one little fat pad such bulk represents. And her answer surprised me, quite matter of fact. She explained how the body is not so compact. When fat is kept warm and enclosed in a space, the cells are real fluid in movable ways. And most fat in a woman who's been asked to lay on her back on the table slides out of the way. So the fat pad's a model of fat as it were when known in the practices of examining her. The pad doesn't simulate fat on command. It simulates fat as it's felt by the hands. And nor is the simulator a model of bones, of bodies, of organs, or it simulates known. To think all this through, I returned to my books, to feminist science studies and its various hooks, and I applied the term taken from Karen Barad, intra-action, how objects are not to be had, but rather are composts of the hows and the whats, of the tools used to know them, and discursive cuts. So the body, as modeled, is not its own thing, ontologically separate from medicine sing. Instead, that same body can only be known through techniques and through instruments. It can't stand alone. And when it is modeled, what's placed in that wax is the practice of knowing it, practice, not facts. So my point with this fat pad is merely to say, when talking of simulators, we have to give way and think of the body as a knowledge phenomenon, a product of practice, and what it's been done on. It isn't the fat that we're trying to model, it's how that fat's felt, how it wiggles and waddles, and how it behaves during a specific deal, not what it might be, but how it might feel. The doctor, the body, anatomist waxed, are entangled, and intra distinctions are hacks. To think of the model as representational ignores that its agency is really relational. So instead of an interface which connotates units with representation, objectified bits, I posit an intra-face with contours of doing, of knowing the body and contexts ensuing. And one implication this insight might give is that medical models model the body we live, and the way that our doctors or anatomy profs can know what's our body demands philosophes. The term of validity ought to be tossed, and the thought of realistic is another one crossed, at least till we grapple with accepting the thought that both of these terms, without practice, are fraught. A simulator mimics the way that we know. It's an intra-face for us. Now let's hope for snow.